welcome to Total Football Talk, Total Sports Talk, however you want to look at it. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Eric.
And we got a couple things to get into today. So we'll start right off the bat. We covered the Bears the last show. So this show, I want to talk a little bit about the Rams and the Seahawks game. Rams, as many of us know, won the game 28-12, and it wasn't really that close. It was 21-3 at one point. I felt very confident that the Rams would win by 10. I made that clear. I later went back and narrowed the score a little bit, but I just felt good about this matchup going in. The Rams have the Seahawks number. The Rams and the team that they were the first 13 weeks of the first, I guess, 13, 12 weeks of the season wasn't the same team because these two rookies weren't in. It was Havenstein and Blythe, and we had all those problems with the O-line. So this, to me, is really a better makeup of who we are. I'm concerned because Havenstein's been practicing this week, so does that mean the Rams are putting him back in against Dallas? I'll get into that later when we cover the analysis of the rest of the show. But those two rookies dominated the Seahawks all day long. The Rams found running room. Todd Gurley got his 25 touches. Jared Goff looked like Jared Goff. And that defense looked like the defense of old. So when all three of those things are happening, the Rams are probably one of the more unbeatable football teams in the National Football League. And they had it all rolling. They got Gurley involved in the passing game. They got Gurley involved in the running game. Eric, I want to give you credit where credit's due. You said they need to utilize the tight end. Well, they utilized the tight end. Just insert Higbee's name instead of Everett. And I actually think Higbee's the better overall tight end on the Rams roster. Everett is more of a one-trick pony. He can catch the ball most of the time. He's a vertical threat. He's not going to help you in the run blocking game. He's not going to help you in the screen game. And he's a liability when he's out there and you are trying to run. So I hope the Rams realize that moving forward. But the two big things that I was impressed with, I was extremely impressed with Jared Goff's ability to complete the tough throw. He looked a little bit better under pressure, like he's starting to trust that line a little bit more. And I personally felt like the Rams looked they looked like the Rams of last year. The other thing that I was really excited about in this particular game was the involvement of Tyler Higbee. I've been saying all along he's Mark Bavaro Jr. He's our version of Mark Bavaro, and he played like it, man. Now, he's no Kittle, but he's a heck of a tight end. Kittle's more of a Keith Jackson from the 80s, and Tyler Higbee's more of a Mark Bavaro, except he needs to be featured more in the passing game, in my opinion. I loved everything the Rams did from a defensive scheme to an offensive scheme, and they held Seattle out of the end zone. There were no touchdowns for the Seahawks, except for a defensive touchdown on a pick six that was clearly Robert Woods' fault. He was supposed to continue the pattern, and he didn't, but I don't want to say it was, let me rephrase that. I don't think it was 100% Robert Woods' fault. I think it was an unbelievable play by a corner who read it beautifully and did what he was supposed to do. That's the problem when you throw precision passes where you're trying to throw where people are supposed to be. If they're not there and the DB reads it, you're going to have some pick sixes. Jalen Ramsey looked good. Obviously, Aaron Donald looked amazing. Overall, I was pleased, but again, I felt extremely confident going in. I was extremely confident throughout, and now the Rams are 8-5, and they're 2 wins away from a 10-win season. Well, yeah, they're 2 wins away from a 10-win season, and they're 3 wins away from making the playoffs. So we'll get into the Cowboy analysis later, but that's my take. E, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I want to add a couple of things. First, I know everything that I was saying leading up to the game pointed toward the Seahawks, so I'm glad I was wrong about it. Second, I just want to say that this puts an end to any Russell Wilson MVP talk. I think it's Lamar Jackson's lose. We've seen what Lamar does. He's been amazing. Yeah. Leads the league in passing touchdowns. Is a top 5 running back, I guess you could say. Like he's got top 5 rushing yards. I'll put it like that. So Wilson hasn't been able to keep up. What I was really disappointed in, when Cooper Kupp is one of your best wide receivers on the field, he needs to play more than 19 snaps. That was concerning to me. Why is Josh Reynolds getting more run than Cooper Kupp? Obviously, McVay knows they decided to go with the run game, and maybe Reynolds is a better blocker than Kupp, or maybe they don't want to put Kupp in a position to where he's blocking when he gets injured. I don't know. Cooper Kupp, though, needs to be on the field. Him and Woods, and then I know Cooks really hasn't done much, but also I know that they went with a couple of two tight end sets with Higby and their third string tight end.
Yeah,
And Reynolds was out there a ton, and I'm like, why is Reynolds out here when he's the fourth wide receiver, but Cooper Kupp's only logging 19 plays. Now Kupp did enough in 19 plays to where he had 4 catches, 45 yards, and a touchdown. So he's still needing impact. But to me, he should be playing majority of the snaps. Okay, you always want to put your best players out there. And like I said, maybe McVay was like, well, we're going to run. I don't want you blocking Kupp. I want to keep you fresh. Maybe if we run a deep route, I want you running that, whatever. I don't know. But it was nice to see Gurley get some run. And I know they're saying that they're like, hey, we're gonna keep Gurley fresh. You know, I get it, but maybe the time to keep Gurley fresh is now, and not at the beginning of the year, when you could have used those wins early, so you're not trailing the Vikings, trying to get into the playoffs. And, you know, it's a game of what ifs. It's going to be a season of what if. If the Rams don't make the playoffs, will they look back and say, we should have ran Gurley more? If the Rams make the playoffs and sneak in and knock the Vikings out, you know, hey, it's something we need to look forward to going forward. Or, hey, you know, we did this with Gurley, so maybe we can do it again next year. Well, every year is different. And, you know, you just got to play with the hand that you're dealt. And if that means running Gurley, Gurley should have had over 100 yards in a couple of straight games. But for some reason, they're not giving him the ball more when he should be getting the ball. But I think you're going to see a big difference between the Rams the last 2 weeks and the Rams against the Cowboys, and I'll get into that when we hit that preview.
Yeah, I will say that I love Josh Reynolds, but he should not be on the field more than Cooper Kupp. I just want to back you up on that. I think Josh Reynolds is a great receiver. He's a great asset, and he needs to be re-signed, but he shouldn't be on the field logging more snaps than Cooper Kupp. I want to reiterate that. The other thing that I want to touch on really quick before we get into my question for Eric is there was a little bit of a SJW meltdown on the last show by a fan, or at the very least, a upset fan about my comment with the economy. To avoid being overly political, I'm going to phrase this pretty simply. There are 4 graphics in which that I look to determine how the economy is doing. Now, just because I, as a teacher, am living paycheck to paycheck, and just because somebody out there may be working 2 or 3 jobs, that does not mean, as far as the rest of the country, the other 359,998,000 other people, don't apply. Okay? So here are the metrics that I look at to determine if the economy is roaring. Unemployment numbers. And right now we have more people looking for, more employers looking for workers than workers looking for work. That's one. And that's according to the federal government, or I'm sorry, the economic, Department of Economics I can't remember the exact name of it, but that's from the economic experts. Okay. Those numbers are yearly, hell, they're monthly. Okay. And they were trusted when Obama was president. There's no reason they shouldn't be trusted now that Trump is president. The second thing that I look for is the spending that the Americans are doing. And right now, Americans, by and large, are spending more in the last 3 years than they had in the previous 12. Okay, and again, that's according to corporations releasing their information out saying people are buying our products. Take a look. The third thing is the stock exchange. okay, the Dow Jones and all that. You got to look at that because people aren't buying and selling in times of trouble. And we've seen that. When that's low, the economy's low. When that's high, the economy tends to do well. It's not the only measurement, and it certainly isn't the only one that I lean on, but when you add it to the other two, that's pretty significant. And the fourth thing that I look at is my own personal, not my own personal, but well, that's more of a fifth thing. So I'll get to that in a minute. But the fourth thing that I look for is what are the job rates and the employment numbers in state to state. And all of those states, they're experiencing a big increase in just about every state. There's a few that are the exceptions to the rule. And then you have to look at your state's economy and say, how's the state doing? So right now, Arizona's in a surplus, and our surplus is significantly more than it's been in the last 8 years. The fifth thing and the last thing is a personal look, okay? So while I may be living to paycheck, I'm still able to get certain things with some extra money as need be, like this Christmas season. I'm able to get my kid a bike and do some of these things. But what are my neighbors doing? What am I doing? What's the impact around me look like? And right now, people aren't complaining about the economy. Not like they were when Obama was president. So when I talk about the economy roaring, I'm using those 5 metrics. And I take me personally as the fifth element because I'm one man, but what are my neighbors saying? What are my coworkers saying? What are my students saying? What are my friends saying? What's the state saying? Because the world, especially the United States economy, doesn't involve just 1 or 2 people. So yes, I just want to explain why I said the economy is booming. Numbers don't lie. That's what I love about economics. Numbers are numbers. They don't have a political affiliation. They either are or they aren't. And even CNN has acknowledged that this economy is booming like they've never seen. And that's the Clinton News Network that we're talking about. Okay. Now my question for Eric. Eric.
I get to join in.
I heard this comment today, and I just want to get your opinion. So the comment that I heard today, and I don't know the guy's name, he's normally with Chris Carter. He's the bald, dorky white guy that's never even played a down of Madden, let alone real football in his entire life. And he turned around, I think it's First Take, I don't even know if that's right, but he turned around and he said that if the Rams win 45-0, that's not going to mean that the Rams are a Super Bowl contender or even a playoff caliber team because the first 13 weeks is all that matters. Everything else, that doesn't matter, but the first 13 weeks tell me who you are. Eric, go. My question is this. Do you agree or disagree, and why?
Wholeheartedly disagree with that take. That's an asinine comment and really should not even need to be addressed. But because people like to talk out of the back end instead of their mouth with the brain, we unfortunately have to deal with this type of nonsense. Typically, you know what your team is at around the 8-week mark. And if you're not out of the playoff picture by then, you still have a legit shot. Okay, so after 13 weeks, if the Rams win 45-0 over the Cowboys, yes, that tells you a lot. That tells you that the Rams are firing on all cylinders. That tells you the Cowboys are a dumpster fire. And if the Eagles win that game against the Redskins, that means the Cowboys are not in first place in the NFC East. That they're in second place. And the Eagles have control of the division. So yes, it means actually a ton as far as if the Rams win 45-0, like this knucklehead says that it wouldn't matter. It does matter. And again, around the 8-week mark, you can hit your stride, you can actually start tailing off, but you know exactly what your team is, with or without injuries, when it comes to after 8 weeks of the season.
Okay. I will just say this. In 2007, the New York Giants were 6-6. Now, that's not a Super Bowl champion caliber record. The Patriots were 12-0. The Cowboys at that time, I believe, were either 12-1 or 10-2, something like that. They ended up going 12-4 that year and were the number 1 seed. Does anybody remember that? I'll just throw this out there. In 1987, the Washington Redskins won the Super Bowl. At the time that they were at the Week 12 mark, I think they were flirting with around 3 or 4 losses. And they ended up with, I think they had 3 losses because they ended up with 4 on the year. Maybe 5. They might have been they weren't 10-5. They were 11-4. So, okay. Okay. So let me remind people that the New York Jets in 1986, by the Week 13 mark, were 10-3. And they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. They ended up 10-6 and lost to Cleveland in the second round, or the divisional round. I don't know how many more examples I need to give to prove that this individual should probably be focusing more on, football and actually learn the sport that he's being paid probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to announce. And it brings me to my final point. For those of you trolls out there that like to come on to this show or other shows being run by people like me and Eric and say, I'll trust the experts, you guys are just doing this out of your garage or out of your basement or out of your room or office, whatever, you're an idiot. If you'd rather trust morons like that, who, as Eric said, speak more often than not out of their back end rather than their front end using their brain, eloquently put, you're an idiot. And you probably also think that the Patriots have never cheated. Oh, now we get to my favorite part of the day. Eric, I'm going to run through a laundry list of things here, so please bear with me. I heard this week that no one cares about the Patriots filming. Why would they film the 1-8 Bengals? What could they possibly have to gain? You film the 1-8 Bengals because you're the New England Patriots, and that's just what you do. It doesn't matter if they're 8-0, 8-1, 1-8, or 0-8. You film them because that's what you do. The statement that was made by the Patriot that was caught, there are 2 parts of this that I find to be extremely disturbing. Number 1, he said, I'll delete it if you want me to. Well, why would you delete it? If you had nothing to hide, why not just show him what you were doing, right? Number 2, he gave the same excuse, the exact same excuse, saying that he was working independently with the Patriots. He was working as a part of the Crafts production crew. He wasn't a part of the coaching staff, which is exactly what the a-hole said that was caught before the whole Patriot Spygate 1 broke out. The exact same statement. The Patriots will never be, in my opinion, considered one of the great franchises in NFL history. I don't care if they have 45 Super Bowl titles. Belichick is a great coach, but he's not the greatest. I don't care how many championships he wins. Tom Brady is a great quarterback, but he's not the greatest. I don't care how many Super Bowls he wins. Because if you don't think there's an advantage to know what the defensive calls are on the field while you're under center at the line of scrimmage with 18 seconds on a play clock, so you're able to audible out or hit exactly where you want to go, then you're not a football fan. You're either oblivious to reality, an idiot, or somewhere in between. And this organization has always done this. Let's go back in the time machine, shall we? 1982, the snowplow incident. The NFL later came out and said, well, it definitely isn't in the rule book, but it isn't not in the rule book. It's just a real unethical thing to do. And the NFL eventually put in a rule saying that you can't use a foreign object to clear the snow. That was the first time they cheated. Made the playoffs, lost to the Patriots to the Dolphins in the playoffs. 1987, their original owner, Sullivan, got caught up in a major financial scandal that cost him the football team, and he was forced to sell it because he was dealing with some unethical things with the team's money. Then you've got the coaching tampering that they did in 1999 with the Jets to get Bill Belichick over in New England. Then you had Spygate. Then you had Deflategate. Now you have Spygate again. You have the officials that everyone knows is cheating. And I love how people are like, oh, they punished the Patriots. They punished the Patriots? A $500,000 fine and a 32nd overall pick in the first round they lost. That's a real slap on the wrist, let me tell you. That's going to make me not want to cheat. Why do the Patriots keep filming people? Because they keep getting away with it. Sean Payton was suspended for an entire season for something he didn't even do. His coaching staff did. Bill Belichick has never been suspended, not one game. Now, I personally think that Goodell is totally in on this because the Spygate tapes were never recovered by the NFL. The commissioner didn't ask for them back. He just told the Patriots to burn them and then took them for their word. You want to know why the Rams scored 3 points against New England? When they scored 6 against Chicago, and that was their lowest total, and Chicago's defense, I'm sorry, was way better than New England's in 2018. Okay? Not to mention that their number one defensive player broke his arm in the second quarter, and the Rams still couldn't muster but 3 points against that team. It's because the Patriots were filming. They've never stopped filming. You want to know why they've been in all these Super Bowls? Because they film. You want to know why Butler knew exactly where to be on that Russell Wilson slant pattern? Because they had the film. Now, could have been prevented if they just did what Eric said, which is run the damn ball, but that's another story for another time. It doesn't still explain the fact that New England once again was in perfect position on a play that Seattle hadn't really run in over 12 weeks. Quick slant from the end zone. I think they ran it in the championship game, actually. But once again, there is a tremendous advantage. And if you really want me to believe that there are 31 other NFL teams that are filming the New England Patriots and filming just like the Patriots are doing, but they just haven't been caught, then you're telling me that the Patriots are incompetent? The very team that everybody talks about from top to bottom is run with a tight ship, clean, neat, perfect. They do their job and they do it better than everybody else, but they can't figure out how to film another team better than the other 31 teams. Yeah, I'm not buying it, dude. And it should matter to everybody because it's an unbelievable advantage for that football team that nobody else in the league has. It is unequivocally, unbelievably an advantage because you know the defensive signals, you know the defensive sideline signals, you know the offenses, not just their formations, but how they break the huddle, you know what their personnel does, you know what personnel is out there and what they do when they're out there. It is unbelievably an advantage. And yet, nothing will happen to the Patriots. Maybe another $500,000 fine. Maybe they'll lose 2 first-round picks. Belichick won't be suspended. I can guarantee you that. So what do I want done? I want every Super Bowl that Bill Belichick has ever been the head coach of to have an asterisk next to it. Starting with 2001. And just put a little notation on there. Cheated in the records. Spied on the opponent illegally. I don't want the score reversed. I don't want to go back and play the game. I don't want any of that crap that the Saint fans were arguing about. But I do want an asterisk. And I want people to start being honest when they talk about the Patriots. And start realizing that maybe Tom Brady isn't as great as we all pretend he is. Because an advantage for any quarterback of that magnitude would make anyone great. He's better than Joe Montana. I don't even know if he's better than Peyton Manning at this point. And I used to make that argument. So I have a podcast on this. It's about 13 minutes long where I kind of go into detail. But I want to cover it here too, just in case people don't have podcast capability. Eric, I will let you get the last word on this. I am done, and then we will move on. Is there anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, it's not surprising who's filming and whatnot again. If it's happened once, it's going to happen again, and it's probably happened many more times. So this is not new. I know you want your asterisks in the record books, but the only asterisk that's ever been in a record book was in the MLB record books when Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's record, and only that lasted for a few years, and then they took it out. So back in 1961.
Yeah.
So obviously, I know what you want, but for the NFL to do that, there would have to be something even more monumental, in my opinion. And even then, I don't even think they would do that. But it doesn't surprise me. I know they're going through on NFL Network right now. The top 100 players and then the top 10 coaches. I'll tell you what. Bill Belichick is on that show, and I watch it. I haven't watched the last episode yet, but with this whole filming and whatnot, I would say, hey, Bill, I see you're up there on the top 10 coaches of all time. Actually, because of what's been going on in New England since you've been the head coach, we're going to take you off there. We're going to put somebody else on. I think that would be a real kick in the pants right there on the NFL Network from Rich Eisen. And just be like, and just watch Belichick's face drop. You want to get something out like that? Right then and there. That would be the talk for a month.
Yeah. Put him at 11. Put him at 11 and put it again, I don't think an asterisk is asking too much. I'm not looking for the results to be changed. But I agree with you. You're allowed to, that's why we do the show. We have a different way of looking at things. And you're 100% right. I don't ever expect anything to change. Nothing changes under this commissioner.
No, not with Dipstick as commissioner.
I was just going to say, not with this commissioner. And for Patriot fans to sit there and try and pretend like Roger Goodell isn't their greatest ally is so flipping hilarious to me that it makes me almost piddle my pants with laughter. Because as much as he's suspended Brady for 4 games, and has gone after the Patriots, they've gotten away with way more than any organization would ever get away with under any other commissioner in the history of the game. And that's just a fact. But it is what it is. Let's get into this. I'll cover the Steelers-Bills game. Do you want to cover your game first, or you want me? Because mine's the Sunday night game.
I'll start with the Houston Tennessee game. I'm looking forward to this game for quite a few reasons, actually. This is for first place in the AFC South, and they play each other 2 times the next 3 weeks. With the Titans playing New Orleans sandwich in between there. So it's not like they have an easy road to the division, but 2 wins over Houston can really get them the division, because I don't think Indianapolis is coming from behind and taking it.
Mm-mm.
Ryan Tannehill, man, what else can you say about this guy? Mike Vrabel is doing a heck of a job coaching the Tennessee Titans right now. He's got a running back that is like a semi going through an offensive line that nobody wants to touch. He is ridiculous. And we see it when he played in college ball in Alabama, because, Alabama games are always on TV unless they play the Citadel. But Derrick Henry is a freak of nature. And he's not even a semi, he's a dump truck running through people. Nobody wants to tackle him. You know why? Because everybody right now, and it happened last year, everybody's tired, everybody's not even 100%, and now you've got Derrick Henry who's like, hey, come tackle me. And they're like, no thanks. And they're like, he breaks 75-yard touchdown runs. But then you have a quarterback who is 7-1 since he took over from Marcus Mariota. And if you don't believe that Marcus Mariota is not going to be in Tennessee next year, then I got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you.
Right.
Because Marcus Mariota will not be in Tennessee next year. Ryan Tannehill may not be in Tennessee next year unless they franchise tag him and he signs it, or they give him a long-term deal. because he may be their savior of the season and of that franchise going forward. They have A.J. Brown, who, if you don't know who he is, get to know him. He is a heck of a wide receiver. He has overtaken Corey Davis a long time ago as the team's true number one wideout. You do have Corey Davis. You have Adam Humphries, who came over from Tampa, but he's been injured the last few weeks, so he's not out there. And then, of course, you have Delaney Walker, who is or isn't healthy, depending on the week, and Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith is another tight end who, once he gets out in the open field, watch out because he can make plays. He's not going to go deep. He's not gonna break through like a Gronkowski or Kelsey or an Ertz, but he'll move the chains for you. And that's what you need, especially in that division, especially in those elements. Because let's face it, when you're playing December football in Tennessee, it's not like it's 25 degrees warmer and you're in a tropical climate. It's still cold, and you still want those guys to be bruising and getting through that line and making those catches on tough catches. So Ryan Tannehill is making it easy on everybody. What he has done to Tennessee, I am rooting for the Titans openly and outright in the AFC. I want to see them in the playoffs, and I want to see them do some damage in the playoffs too, because I think that they have a legit chance to make a deep run.
Well,
and they're not gonna get the number one seed. They're not gonna get the number two seed. That's fine. I want to watch them that first week. I want to watch them at home. The city of Nashville needs that team to do really well, and Ryan Tannehill is doing it. And unfortunately, that's one last quarterback out of the open market for teams who might be looking for one. Not going to say who, but that Tennessee is just fun to watch, and I expect a shootout against the Houston Texans. The Texans, on the other hand, wow, I feel like I've talked about the Titans for about an hour.
Yeah.
The Texans, on the other hand, they're still a team. I think they're still searching for their identity. Listen, they can take down the world champs of last year, the New England Patriots, and look really good doing it. Then the next week, I know emotions can run different from week to week, but to then get walked over by the Denver Broncos, lose by 2 touchdowns at home, and seeing that and knowing that you have a division game next week on the road doesn't bode well. It does not bode well. You can have an all-world quarterback, and you guys all know how I feel about Deshaun Watson. Shouldn't be playing in Houston right now. That's another story for another time. I'll keep beating that dead horse to get enough homers blue for the next 10 years. But then you also have DeAndre Hopkins, stud wide receiver, top 3 in the league. And, you can make a case for the best in the league as well, along with Michael Thomas, 1A and 1B. He is a stud. He's difficult to contain. He's done it a lot with some bad quarterback play. Now he's got a legit starting quarterback there at Houston. The only thing that concerns me with Houston is their running game, their offensive line, and their defense. J.J. Watt is out. We all know that. He might be back for the playoffs, but hey, how can you be back for the playoffs if you don't make the playoffs? And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Houston playing Tennessee 2 out of 3 weeks. With that being said, I like the Titans at home in a 27-21 game victory in Nashville.
I like how you go. The only thing that worries me is the Houston Texans football team, because you said their offensive line, their defense, and their special.
Well, no, they do concern me, the offensive line, because Watson gets hit quite a bit.
Yeah.
But again, the running game, with the Carlos Hyde and Johnson, isn't going to put the fear into anybody. And that offensive line should put the fear into Deshaun Watson with him getting hit a lot. And their defense.
Oops. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a hiccup. So,
hello?
Yeah, I'm here. We had a little bit of a hiccup. So Eric's gonna finish what he was saying about the Titans defense. He had just started on that. Go ahead.
Actually, it was the Texans defense.
Texans, sorry.
Doesn't really strike the fear in anybody. And so this is why I like the Titans in this game by a one-score game, 27-21. I just think the Titans are ready, and they got the Texans at a really good time.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna keep it simple. I think that the Titans are gonna win this game, 27-17, 27-20. I think it's gonna be a relatively close game. I just think for me, you've got a strong running game in Tennessee, a stronger defense. Who's gonna stop the Titans running game?
You know, I do want to add. No, sorry, Anthony. I do want to add that Derrick Henry has missed practice all week. Said he was going to play Sunday. He does have a hamstring issue, so does bear monitoring. If the Titans, if Henry doesn't play, I mean, it's still going to be, I think, still a Titans win. I think Seattle's going to put the whole game on his shoulders.
Well, I think that they're still going to trust their offensive line to mow the lawn. And they may not get the same type of back out there, but I think who's their backup?
Well, they got Dion Lewis.
Well, there you go. He played last year, right?
So he's still on the team.
Yeah. So, I mean, running behind Saffold in that offensive line, you know, the Texans still have that problem of how are they going to stop the run. They traded Jadeveon Clowney, and it didn't really benefit them at all. So, and now when they need him the most, they're hurting for certain. And J.J. Watt's got to stop getting injured. I don't know what he's doing to get himself hurt, but they need him on the field, and that's why I'm picking the Titans. I just think it cripples them. My analysis of this next game, the Bills and the Steelers. This is my analysis. I don't believe that the NFL wants to see the Bills win the division, and I don't believe that the NFL wants a playoff scenario that doesn't include the Pittsburgh Steelers. So because the NFL doesn't want either of those things to happen, there's not a lot of analysis to go in here. Steelers will win because they'll have the officials in their favor, and they'll end up pulling out a victory. I think it's going to be a great defensive game. I think both defenses are going to be extremely tight. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but at the end of the day, I just think it's going to be a Pittsburgh victory. So I'm going to say 17-13 Steelers because that's what the NFL wants. So again, not a lot to really go into here. I just think that the officials, I saw what they did to the Rams when they went to Pittsburgh. They certainly didn't allow for the Steelers to lose that game, and I don't think they're going to allow for the Steelers to lose to the Buffalo Bills or allow Buffalo in this discussion to win the division. So because of those two factors and the fact that they're a great defense and an overrated defense, I think that there's going to be a lot of things that are kind of going to be favoring Pittsburgh along the way. But I do expect a low-scoring game. I'm going to go ahead and say Steelers 17, Bills 13. That's what I had said before. I'm repeating that. Just wanted Eric to hear it, but I also wanted to go into a little bit more analysis. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and it's going to be a difficult one to watch on Sunday night. Not because it's going to be poorly played, but because it's going to be overly officiated. Go.
I think this game comes down to quarterback play. Listen, they're both put your nose in and try to get the football. The addition of Minka Fitzpatrick has been wonderful for the Steelers. Their defense has really carried them as far as keep winning games and whatnot. I just think that it comes down to the quarterback play. Who makes the least amount of mistakes? To me, that is Josh Allen. Bills win this game 20-17.
I hope you're right, but I doubt it. All right, now moving on to the Bears against Green Bay. Take it away. So Verizon's just awesome, guys. I really recommend going with a different network. They keep disconnecting it's like Sprint used to be in Gilbert. It's ridiculous. All right, Eric, Green Bay, Chicago, go.
All right. The Bears have been playing a lot better of late, especially the last two games. Trubisky's been playing really good football. The game-winning drive at Detroit, I don't know it's at Detroit, but still, it's a football game you got to win anyways. Dallas, they housed the Cowboys, after the 17-play drive, the Cowboys really weren't heard from again until the fourth quarter. So there's a lot of confidence going with Trubisky right now, and rightfully so. I mean, there's got to be some game somewhere where you get your head right and you play good football. And, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks go through it. I'm not going to name them all, because they all have. So the Bears are going to Green Bay. Green Bay is never an easy time. Yeah, the Bears went up there last year, lost week 1, 24-23 to come back. Came home, played Green Bay, beat Green Bay at home. This year they open at home, lose to Green Bay. So, where's this really going? The Bears get Akeem Hicks back, which is huge for Khalil Mack. And if Mack is held in check yet again by the Green Bay offensive line, it's going to be a long day for the Bears defense. But the Bears' run defense is where they're really going to get challenged, because that's where they need to contain Green Bay the most. Green Bay is not a throwing team anymore. Green Bay is a running team. And Aaron Jones has proved time and time again, give me the ball. We have Devontae Adams back. Give me the ball, and, this team is going to hum. No longer do they need Aaron Rodgers to do what he did against Oakland, okay? That was Rodgers being Rodgers saying, I still have it. Yeah, dude, you're 35 years old. We get it. We know you still have it. But the Bears' defense is better than the Raiders' defense. And when Green Bay gets smoked and worked over like no other in Santa Clara, and then they come home and they play, or then they go to the Giants. Well, a lot of teams beat the Giants. And you come home and play the Redskins. A lot of teams beat the Redskins. But you know what? You didn't do it convincingly. And I'm not convinced that you're... I haven't been convinced all year that you're great. You played one good game, one complete good game, and that was home against Carolina. Other than that, you haven't looked the best, okay? You might be 10-3, and a lot of people say you are who your record says you are, or you are what your record says you are. You're an overrated 10-3 team in my book. Does that mean the Bears are going to go in there and stop them? I would love for the Bears to go in there and win 77-0 and be like, poop on this. But that's never the case. Bears never make it easy in Green Bay. If the Bears do not establish a run game in Green Bay, where Green Bay is letting opposing running backs have a 5-yard per carry average, then the Bears are not going to win the game. Now, the Bears also unleashed a new element in their season this year, and that was finally letting Trubisky run, which I think he is a very underrated runner. We saw what he did against Dallas on Thursday night 2 weeks ago. If Trubisky can get out and run and get first down with his legs and sustain drives, I mean, the Bears can easily win this game. But I think it's going to be close. Green Bay 21, Bears 20.
We're not that far off. I think the Bears couldn't stop the Raiders running back, Jacobs, and I think this kid in Green Bay is a little bit better. The Bears.
Well, there's a big difference. The Bears aren't traveling across an ocean.
I know.
With 2 days to spare.
I know, but this is a battle of two teams that are both unimpressive and haven't done much for me to believe that they're where they need to be to win this game. When these two teams played, I don't think that 10-3 game was a very far mark off of how they ended up being this year. And normally week 1, you throw that out the window, right? I don't trust the Bears to stop Green Bay's running attack, and I don't trust the Green Bay Packers to be able to find a lot of time for Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Because it's in Green Bay, I'm going to go Packers 14, Bears 13, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Bears will have more scoring opportunities, but they'll end up kicking 2 field goals and a touchdown, and I think the Packers will capitalize off of what few opportunities they have for whatever reason, short field, opportunity, mistakes, whatever. I'm going to give it to Green Bay 14-13. Sorry, bud.
I mean, don't be sorry. It is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Rams, Cowboys. I'll make it simple. These two teams, they hate each other. This is a rivalry. The Rams aren't going into Dallas just to want to win because they're in the middle of a playoff picture. They want to pound Dallas into paste. The Rams, if they start Havenstein, I'm really worried, and that's going to change the prediction in this game point wise. I believe the Rams will be smart enough to start their two rookies, keep them going, bring in Havenstein if one struggles. Maybe they'll do the opposite. I look for Todd Gurley to get 25 carries. I look for him to get 5 receptions, and he's going to have 30 touches in this game. He's going to have over 100 yards rushing, over 50 yards receiving. He's going to have 2 touchdowns. I think Jared Goff is going to have some time in that pocket to really get the ball to his tight ends and down the field. I think Dallas is playing uninspired. They may come out and look like gangbusters on the first drive like they have the last 3 weeks, and then they will disappear like they have the last 3 weeks. I think the Rams go into Dallas, and I think they win this game 35-21, and they walk out of there 9-5. And I think Gurley is going to be the reason the Rams win this game. He's going to be the game's MVP when all is said and done. And people talk about his 150, 180 all-purpose yards that he had both receiving and rushing in this game. And finally broke the 100-yard rushing mark. Make no mistake about it, this game will definitely unfold. Now, if Havenstein is the starter, I think the Rams win this thing 28-21, and it's going to be a dogfight the whole way through because there's going to be scoring opportunities missed because that big lump of human fecal matter on the right side doesn't know how to block anybody, and Dallas will figure out to put Lawrence on him, and that'll be the end of the Rams' drives late in the game. Your opinion?
All right, well, you can look forward to Havenstein being doubtful because that's what his current designation is, and Gerald Everett is out for this game as well. As far as you're giving the Rams, a game where it's going to be close, I don't see it. I think Dallas is in a free fall, and I think the Rams are playing really good football right now. I don't think Gurley gets as many yards as you're predicting, but he does have a good day on the ground. But I think once the Cowboys start scoring, I think it's going to unleash kind of an offensive game in this game. I don't expect it to be really high scoring, but I expect Dallas to keep it close for a little while. But then I expect the Rams to pull away, and that's where I think, especially in the second half, Gurley gets a lot of his yards. And that is just, I see Goff throwing a lot, not for as many yards as he threw against Arizona, but I'm thinking over 300 yards, at least 3 or 4 touchdowns. And I got the Rams winning big, 41-13, 41-17, somewhere on there.
Wow. All right. There we go. All right, guys. Eric, is there anything you want to add to wrap up this show?
Yeah, hopefully the show gets posted before Saturday night, but I got Joe Burrow winning the Heisman Trophy tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So to answer that, yes, I'll be posting it right away. So I'm gonna take this computer in and start that process.
Who's your pick?
It's gonna be Burrow. I don't see how it can't be at this point. He's been talked about. It's kind of a foregone conclusion, I think, at this point. I'm curious to see if Burrow is going to be as good in the pros. I like that the kid had to improve over his career. I like that he wasn't an all-world beater in college and then got drafted. That tells me that there was growing still happening and is still happening. So I like this kid. I think he's going to make somebody very happy as their first overall pick. I just don't expect him to come out as a rookie and produce like Lamar did.
Okay. Then I have this question for you. Piggybacking off of Burrow winning the Heisman. If you're the Bengals and you're picking first, and I'm just throwing this out there right now, do you go with Joe Burrow or do you go with the best defensive end to come out in a long time in Chase Young from Ohio State?
I think Andy Dalton, his time is done. I think you get Burrow. You have to. And I think
I understand.
And I
think you can case for both, obviously, and if you bring Dalton back for a year, but I don't think the Bengals want to play that game.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm Anthony.
I'm Eric.
Horns up.
Bear down.
And go Rams.
And go Bears beat Green Bay.
Beat Dallas. Hate those Cowgirls. Late.